My name is Naomi, and I am a medic in United Atala. I'm a volunteering medic. It wasn't it wasn't just a regular day. It was even more than that. It was one of the biggest holidays in Judaism. All the electricity, equipment, everything is off on that day. It's a holy day. When the siren started, so we thought, okay, it was a little bit rare. We have a safe room in my house, so we would just go into the room, close the door, and as a procedure, because I'm a medic, I opened my radio, my medic radio in United Salwan. And once I opened it, and it just started to pop like every 2 seconds. And then the head of my district went on the radio and said, I need help. I opened my cell phone. I said, okay, it's different. Once I opened the phone, the siren began again. We basically stayed in the safe room for almost an hour. Of course, we hear the loud crashing of the bombs. Also, one bomb just fell. A rocket fell like in my street, outside of my building. We saw it afterwards. All the windows were shaking, and then we realized it's something different. After already like an hour, we understand it's a war. We get to Saad, which at that point was the only kibbutz that was in full Israeli control. We got to the entrance of the kibbutz, and they called us from the inside, the civilian forces. They said, you have 10 seconds to get out of the vehicle and identify as Jews, or we're shooting you. We jumped out of the ambulance shaking and holding our hands up and just screaming, we're Jews, we're Jews. We go inside the kibbutz. We didn't even have time to park the ambulance. They pull us out of the ambulance again, throw us on the floor, and you hear the screaming in Arabic. You hear Allahu Akbar, and they start shooting, and you see the bullets flying on top of your head, and you realize there is a battlefield in all sides of you. After a few minutes of that, we got an order on the radio, please go back towards Cheletz. So we got on the ambulance again, and we start driving towards Cheletz. We got to Cheletz. It was a group of people from the Nova that they were hiding in the fields, and a few of them were already dead because it took too long to get to them, and they just died from the wounds. One of them we were able to save. He had a really severe bullet wound, but only like scratches on the back of his skull. But we were able to save him and put him on the helicopter. And there was another guy that he was minorly injured, but he was holding his girlfriend's body in his hands. We had to like separate him really with force. I got appointed to a doctor with one of the special units, and he told me, look, right now you're my hands and you're my eyes, and whatever I tell you, you do. Tanks and cars, a lot of shootings. We lay on the floor covering our heads. After a few minutes of shooting, the gates of Kfar Aza open and the cars start to go out. We open each door and we scream, do you have any injuries? We just, we take body after body after body. We lay them on the floor, and it's a road. It's just a road. And we lay them down, and then the doctor checked the pulse, and he said, okay, this one, tell me in 15 seconds if he doesn't have any pulse. We're going to put him with the bodies pile over there. I can't even describe to you the helpless and the useless you feel at that moment, because you're already there. This person have a pulse. In any other situation, you would start CPR, you would have time, you would have more people to help you, you would have more equipment. And you just don't. You just wait for the pulse to end, and you put them with the rest of the bodies on the side of the road. And you continue to the next one, and the next one, well, maybe you need to chop off a leg, maybe you have some severe wound all over the chest or the head. And you work on autopilot. You do whatever the doctor tells you. It's hour after hour, and it's dark, and there is no electricity. At one point, you just use your flashlight from your phone. And at one point, you have a pile of dead bodies on the side of the road. On the other side, there are a few live people that have been rescued from Kfar Aza, terrified. Half of them half dressed, half of them with pajamas, most of them without any shoes on. And they are terrified. You also have a few terrorists that have been caught. I think what hit me the most, they were so young. They were young. I'm talking about 19, 20, I don't know, 25. They were kids. They were young. They've been raping. They've been destroying. They've been mutilating bodies of. They've been burning babies alive. So it was a long time afterwards that I got home. I got into my building, and then all of a sudden I see that my shoes are, covered with blood. For me, it was my life before the 7th of October, and today the after. And it's really, I still cannot believe it's been a year.
I got the phone call from the headquarters of Hatzalah telling me this is not only missiles, there's also shooting in the city. We don't know exactly what's happening, but there's shootings in the city of Sderot and the city of Ofakim. That what the headquarters knew. I picked up all the equipment in the two centers, and I was driving down. I was told to get towards Sderot. So basically, I got there with the equipment I had, and I dropped it off, and they sent us basically to go out and feel and see what's happening. We passed the entrance of Sderot. We didn't go in because we know there's shooting there. We already saw cars on the side and bodies. We ran out of the car. We tried to see if there's anyone to save, but the first few bodies, there was nothing there. We moved on a little, and we pulled up in the bus stop because there was many bodies. We started going through. While we're talking, there is siren went off. We're acting like robots. We're doing a Zoom, showing them what's happening, telling them, listen, we need more help here. We do CPR on people. Unfortunately, I did CPR also on babies. It was as if we're in a movie. There's RPG all like on the road. There is this big car with a machine gun on the top. There was a tank not too far away that was that was bombed or something, and it was standing on the side. We didn't even have time, I think, to even understand exactly what we're seeing. That's, if I'm thinking about it, that's the truth. Minutes later, army car pulls over, say, open up, because we came with an ambulance. Open up the doors. I have someone wounded. So we open up the door, we pull out the bed. They put on the bed, they put the soldier that had a bullet hole in the head. You even saw part of the brain, but they didn't even have a bandage on it. It was still like bleeding. We put him into the ambulance. I remember we're moving him to the medic car. Missiles are flying over our heads. They started shooting. And basically, I went back for more rounds. That was my day. That was my day until 2 a.m. The next time we went to Kfar Aza. The soldiers say, you guys stay here. And they said, we will bring the wounded people to you. They brought the wounded people many times. The soldiers that we shake hands, and they went in to bring the wounded people. Unfortunately, we got their bodies back after an hour. Those were very, very, very hard hours that I'll never forget. We call it the road of death. There were bodies on the road. There were burnt cars with bodies inside the cars and outside the cars. I remember 4 girls, we picked them up. They're 18, 19. They were soldiers. They're full of holes all over the body. So they said that they threw grenades at them, and all the holes are from the stretch now. From the grenades, and they heard the terrorists outside shooting their friends and singing and dancing. This is something that goes with me since October 7th.